Hello fellow old schoolers and welcome to this match between the Forest Tricks deck and this one. It's the Lure of the Land, and we saw that deck in an earlier recording in the Long Island Cup. Uses living lands and Triskelions in a combination and eurekas with big beaters like the nickel bolas. You can also use Lure on basilisks and the wretched to destroy all the opponent's lands after the living plains has gone out, or steal all the opponent's lands after the living plains has gone out. So it's like a green combo deck in this manner. There's a lot of one-offs here. There's a channel and a fireball. Concordant Crossroads is a one-off just to get the big boys in, and as such altar, probably to sacrifice your own lands after you have tapped them, after the living lands is out, to make huge fireballs. And the Lure of the Land is on the right here as a fireball, Birds of Paradise, Volcanic Island, Mox Ruby, a City in a Bottle, and a Bayou and a Strip Mine on the opening hand. Forest Tricks is a Triskelion, Ice Storm, Wheel of Fortune, 2 forests, a Bayou, and a Mind Twist on the opening hand, so pretty strong as well. And the Forest Tricks is on the play, starting out with a Bayou, getting immediately Strip Mined by the Lure of the Land here, trying to rack up his mana base early. And so it sets both players back, but it might destroy some of the black mana from the Tricks deck, and it certainly has. It actually keeps that Mind Twist at bay for now. So Mox and a Birds of Paradise from the Lure of the Land, and there's a black Mox from the Forest Tricks deck. He drew that in. That's a great top deck card here. He can actually Mind Twist at this point if he wants to. I think he should, and he does so here. There's a couple of cards going off. Fireball and a City in a Bottle. Not the best picks, actually. The Fireball is not that useful this early in the game, and I think both players play with City in a Bottle main deck. Okay, so crumpling the Mox here, really trying to set him back by destroying his mana. There's a Factory coming out. Oh, and he returns to favor by destroying that Volcanic Island with an Ice Storm. Successful recall from the Lure of the Land here. So that will actually mitigate that Mind Twist entirely. Tiger and another Mox coming out. Oh, look at that. That's a Eureka and a Nickel Bolas. There's the Eureka. And yeah, there's the Nickel Bolas. Everything is free to play for this turn. And the players take turns on putting down permanents as a Triskelion and a Lure on the Nickel Bolas here. So rare. It's such a rare sight at the tournament to see an Elder Dragon turn 3 like this, or turn 4. Or to see any at all, actually. So it'll discard his entire hand if Nickel Bolas ever gets in. Huge creature, 7/7 flying. So passes the turn to the Forest Tricks player. He has that Triskelion though. Bit of a pickle here. Shoots down the bird. Yeah, and I didn't understand this at the moment it happened, but check this out. The bird dies and there goes the Nickel Bolas. And that's because he can't pay the upkeep for it. By shooting down the bird, it was such a brilliant play. By shooting down the bird, he can't keep the upkeep. He can't pay for the upkeep for the Nickel Bolas. So that Elder Dragon just goes screaming back into the void here, into the warp or wherever it was summoned from. Brilliant play. Okay, so comes over with a Triskelion and a Factory, and putting out a Birds of Paradise as a defending Factory though, and an Elf. And that Triskelion is a 3/3 now, because it's used one of its counters. I don't know a lot about the deck on the left here. He decided not to show his deck tech at this point. It's a new deck he's made, so he wants to still have the element of surprise. But the Lure of the Land on the right, we've seen that before on this channel. It's such a cool tech. Okay, there's a tiger. Here he comes again. There's a defending factory getting crumbled immediately. Just before block, so he can block with other creatures now. He decides to double block the factory with both elves. And the Tusculian shoots one of the elves before it does damage, and the factory kills the other one. So it takes 2 points of damage from the Tusculian then. The Tusculian is now a 2/2 creature, as it has just used another one of its counters. There's a Black Lotus and factory, and a 2/2 Tusculian is coming over. Lord of the Land really needs to make something happen. It was an all-in play with that Nicol Bolas Eureka stuff there, but totally annulled by that cheeky Triskelion shooting down the bird, crumpling his entire plan. There's another bird he tries to block. It gets shut down by the Triskelion. So it takes even more damage. He's at 1 point of life here. There goes the Lotus, and that's a Pyroclasm. Oh, Pyrotechnics does 4 points of damage, any way you like. So ending the game with that. So that's 1-0 for the Forest Tricks deck here. Oh, and there's another. No, I thought it was hand. They're both players are sideboarding at this point. That's another Summon Legend there. Takes in some control magics, it seems. Probably a good idea. There's a Master of the Hunt as well. Pretty cool. I think that Pyrotechnics we saw before, it's very, very good with living planes as well. So I do think both of these decks are centered around the living planes, and that card is actually in vogue lately in this particular part of the country. A lot of tournament decks are trying to brew around that card. Anyway, here's round 2. Demonic Tutor, Living Planes as we talked about, Tropical Island, Birds of Paradise, Badlands, City of Brass. On the other hand, Triskelion, Tutor, Maze of Ith, Mox Jet, Fireball. Didn't catch them all. Okay, he chooses to mulligan anyway. Yeah, but as I was saying, about a year ago, blue decks with mana shorts was popping up everywhere, and at this point it seems to be a lot of text around the living plane. It's really cool. Also, this tournament is very much green. There are some, as I've said in previous videos, there are some bonus points to get for the more green cards you have in the deck, so it makes sense as well to trying to brew some nasty stuff with green. So the Lord of the Land starts out with a Birds of Paradise under that unfortunate glare right there. And there's a Library of Alexandria from the Forest Tricks. He needs to destroy that. Has he another hand? Pyrotechnics, an Energy, a Tranquility, and a Mox Emerald, and a Forest, and a Mistress Factory. Okay. Yeah, okay, he casts Demonic Tutor, and then goes immediately for the Strip Mine, thereby destroying the Library of Alexandria before he could ever read in it, because he had mulliganed. He didn't have enough cards to activate the library. Okay, that's a Factory, a Mox Emerald, and a Chaos Orb coming out. Another Birds of Paradise here. I actually think the Lord of the Land deck is Swedish legal, so he's competing in that sub-tournament as well. Black Lotus, and what? Oh, that's the living planes. Now every land is a 1/1 creature and has summoning sickness, and he seems to be attacking with the Badlands. Yeah, only the Badlands. Tropical Island was used to cast the living planes, I think. So 1 point of damage from that land. So now they have a bunch of 1/1 creatures, but if they lose them, they'll get mana starved. And both decks are built for drawing maximum benefit from living planes. So this could get really brutal. But perhaps he has something in hand, the Lure of the Land, by playing it now. He chooses to Chaos over Mana Bird. That surprises me. Why? Okay. That's a dead bird. Probably reckons that the lands will get destroyed anyway, so the Mana Birds needs to go. Could have attacked with his lands there. I think he should. That's a Mace of Ith. That's a 1/1 creature again with summoning sickness, so he can't use it in the first turn. Really interesting setup here. All those 1/1 creatures that are also very bad to lose. Very strange situation. This is at Esnet's altar. So now he can sacrifice his lands for 2 additional mana, because they're the creatures. So he can make a fireball for, he can get for 9. You can get 10 mana out of what he has right there, by tapping the lands and then sacrificing them, and using the bird. So Tranquility, okay, so he wants to get rid of the living lands at this point, probably reckoning it's too dangerous to keep up with that Esnet's altar. Another mana bird. Just staring at each other at this point. I'm really interested to see what the Forest Tricks has up its sleeve. Sometimes he calls it, I think he calls it Black Cat Control as well, and I have no idea why. But I said it's a secret tech, so we'll have to keep an eye out. And the strategy from the Lure of the Land will be to get out that living plains and then put out like a Thicket Basilisk with a lure and just destroy all the lands, or the Wretched with a lure and then take all the lands. Okay, so he control magics the Enumgen that the Forest Tricks deck has just put out. That's pretty cool. I wonder if the Forest Tricks deck has any Red Blasts sideboarded in. Then you could Red Blast that control magic. There's still that Mace of Ith that keeps him safe for the moment. Oh, he Mind Twists him again here, getting a lure and a fireball. So it's actually pretty decent that he got rid of that living lands actually. Oh, he could have saved up for a huge fireball here. Okay, the Chaos Up coming out. Now you can actually Chaos Up the Mace of Ith, I think he should. Yeah, okay, here we go. Wonder if it hits. So, Mace of Ith has just been orbed into oblivion, and here comes the Enumgen with a straight right hook, putting the Forest Tricks deck down to 15 lives at this point. Now he has 2 defending factories. They can defend themselves. Oh, and that's a Triskelion. Those counters on it. It's only a 4/4 though, so if he blocks the Enumgen, he'll get killed. He can't do that. Okay, so he takes it on the chin again. That makes sense. So he's at 11 life at this point. The Lure of the Land is coming back here with a vengeance after that stinging Nicol Bolas defeat in the first round. It must have been so bad for him finally getting a Nicol Bolas out like this and then just seeing it crumble before his eyes because of one dead bird. Pretty. It's almost like a movie where the villain gets destroyed in such a manner. Okay, so he uses the pyrotechnics on the Enumgen. 4 points of damage, and the final point of damage is done by the Triskelions' guns here, shooting it for 1 point of damage. So that's a 3/3 Triskelion at this point coming over for a poke. I think you could block it with his factory though. Chooses not to. Taps. He takes 3 points of damage. He has a lot of life still, but there are 2 factories against him. That's probably why he held back. He needs to keep them at bay. Oh, there's another Triskelion. This is bad for the lure deck. And as soon as they hit the table, that's 3 damage right there. You can't get rid of them without them shooting you up. So no matter what he does, there's 5 points of damage right there. Okay, he attacks, he tries to block with the factory, but it gets crumbled immediately. He takes more damage from the smaller Triskelion. Oh, and now we have 2 factories and 2 Triskelions ready to commence the onslaught here. Here we go. That's 9 points of damage. Now, okay, he has some blockers. He has a bunch of elves going in against the Triskelion, so he takes 4 points of damage. Has a channel and a thick basilisk. We talked about that earlier. It'll destroy any creature it blocks or that blocks it, because it has that gaze that turns people to stone. So you can't get near it. Yeah, he likes to just shoot it up with the Triskelions. That's the one dead lizard. Oh, and he's at 1 life after the attack. I can just shoot him for 1. That's it. That's game. Man. 2-0 for the Forest Tricks deck here. And both of these decks are actually on their way. And I think they ended up in the top 8, both of them. Very, very interesting brews to get this far. Very good decks. Yeah. After this, I think we'll take a sneak peek back to the tiny Stompy deck and see its 3rd match of this tournament. And then we'll alternate back and forth between other decks that was at the tournament and the adventures of the tiny Stompy. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.